Now, a Rutherford Weather Storm Alert.
Well, here we go again, friends. We are watching storms just to the west, going through Nashville, Bellevue, moving to the east. And let's kind of look at it here on radar together, shall we? So let me turn off one little element here. Turn that off for just a moment. So 83 degrees, feels like 92. That tells you that it's kind of muggy and outside, right? So here are the current watches and warnings. So this is a warning and an observed tornado now. Northern Sumner County, Macon County, Robertson County, northeastern Robertson. So we're watching that. There's also a tornado warning that is radar indicated, and this includes our friends in northern or northeastern Davidson, southwestern Sumner, and northwestern Wilson counties. And just to the south of that tornado warning on the northern half, there's a severe thunderstorm warning with a considerable threat, half-dollar size hail and 70-mile-per-hour winds. And that includes Davidson, northern Williamson, southeastern Cheatham, and south central Robertson County. So that is a big warning with some tornado warnings within that. So obviously what we're interested in is, if you put this into motion, what we're interested in is this southern flank, right? So heads up, Laverne, Smyrna. We're going to be getting some stormage here in the next few. So let's do a track on this. And we are going to track just this southern portion of the line, which is moving to the northeast and moving at highway or interstate speeds, 70 miles an hour. So what does this mean here for Rutherford County? About 14, 15 minutes for Laverne and Smyrna. Wade, 17 minutes. Rule Hill, 18. Some of these may be in other counties, too, by the way. Jefferson Springs, 19. Mona, 20. Gladeville, 22. That's up definitely in neighboring Wilson County. We'll scroll on down because I did track the southern edge of that storm. So when could other places be into some heavy thunderstorm activity? And definitely not telling me that. All right, so maybe we'll do an opposite track. Let me just double check the speed on this again. And 60 miles an hour, so I was a little too fast there. One more track. Northeast, 60 miles an hour. And so this is going to put Laverne, Smyrna into this in about 16 minutes, 18 minutes for Smyrna, and then continuing on in the northern part of the county. As this particular storm moves to the north and east, let's see about this southern flank for the rest of the county. It's not going to be a very large area there. All right, maybe I need to do a little different type of track here. Well, now we have our severe thunderstorm warning. So there we go. So that's what we're going to concentrate on here. Moving northeast at 60. 13 minutes Laverne. Mona, 21. Jefferson Springs, 18. That's just this fan type of track. So up toward Vine and Gladeville, 24, 25 minutes. Mona, 20 minutes. So here is the area. Let me outline that for you. I've got to turn on my pen tool here first. Questions, finally going to get some rain in Christiana. Greg, I think so at some point. This was kind of projected to be coming through later this evening. These storms kind of got going in Arkansas and Memphis and right on through. And I think we're going to get some rain. It's not going to, once we get going, I think we're going to have several different rounds. We'll take a look at that in a second. And Walter Hill is not in this warning right now. So the area in the warning right now, here's the county, and this is going to be a very rough, fast. So really, Smyrna is not in this. Okay. So if you live Veterans Memorial Park, Hurricane Creek, the Hurricane Creek Trail, or Laverne Greenway, Lake Forest, Four Corners, Fate Sanders, in this area, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. Flashing green is a flash flood warning that is going to continue here for another 5 hours. This is pretty much the area where they're, down to Smyrna. From Smyrna to Laverne, you've had the most rain of anybody. Some of us haven't had much at all, honestly. And looks like we've got Regina joining here from Weatherology to talk a little bit about this severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, we are looking at that severe thunderstorm warning. It includes the northwest portion of Rutherford County. So just really that far, far northwest portion of the county included in that, because that possibility of 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts along with quarter-size hail. This line of storms has kept its severity as it continues to move to the northeast. And we are looking at moving fairly quickly. It's moving right around 60 miles per hour. Severe thunderstorm warning for northwest Rutherford County goes until 6 p.m. tonight. So as the storm has continued to track to the northeast, it's continuing to show what we call a bowing segment, which means that it's pushing out a little bit farther. And when we see that, that's a strong indicator that we're likely going to see those very strong wind gusts as it continues to move to the northeast. So once again, far northwest Rutherford County included in that severe thunderstorm warning until 6 p.m. tonight. 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail possible with this line of storms that's pushing to the northeast.
Very good. And kind of give us an idea. I've got lots of comments here about, when are we going to get rain? And this is a northern deal now. There's still several storms to the southwest. We're under a tornado watch here for a bit. So kind of what are the thoughts for the rest of the afternoon into the evening?
Well, we still have that possibility. The ingredients are there for these severe storms for the next several hours, but then our concern certainly turns to that heavy rain. What's happening with these storms is what they're doing, what we call training. So they're going over the same areas continually, these showers and thunderstorms. So that concern for flash flooding is going to continue into tonight, likely to pick up some very heavy rainfall. And it's going to continue over a period of time throughout tonight. And we have that possibility for that flooding continuing. So that's a big concern with these storms too. Not only are they severe early on tonight, but we have that possibility for some very heavy rain coming down with the storm activity. As you mentioned, there's some more behind it that we're watching too. Once this line of storms rolls through, there's still the possibility that we could still see a few strong to severe storms. But then our bigger concern really going to be with how much of that rain adds up within the next several hours.
Okay, very good. Thank you for the update, Regina. Regina from Weatherology giving us an update here on the severe weather that is coming through northwestern corner. It's really from Laverne all the way to the Davidson County border here. So doesn't include Smyrna and doesn't really include all of Laverne. For the most part, Laverne High School here, where you see, is definitely part or not part of that, but that is just Laverne High School, just in the city limits. Kind of snakes around through here. So portions of Laverne, let's say. Okay. And with that being said, we are going to do a break-in on radio here to make sure we're giving the updates, since we do have the severe thunderstorm warning. So hold on with me just a moment here on the Rutherford Weather Channel. Brian Barrett here with you from Rutherford Weather as we continue to watch what will likely be a stormy afternoon. Joining on WGNS radio with our severe thunderstorm warning. It includes, like the smallest portion of Rutherford County that we could possibly get right now. But let's take a look at this warning because it is a warning and it's a severe thunderstorm warning. And this is in effect for most of Laverne up towards Sand Hill. Let me get my bearings here. We've got it kind of zoomed in really tight for you. And I'll give some of the landmarks. So downtown proper in Laverne, Hurricane Creek, Veterans Memorial Park, Laverne Middle School, very near the Bridgestone Firestone Distribution Center, up toward the Ponderosa community, Lake Forest Park, so the Lake Forest subdivision, the Four Corners Marina, Fate Sanders Marina. Now, this severe thunderstorm warning carries what is called a considerable threat. What is that considerable threat? Hail, 1 inch in diameter or quarter size. That is not the considerable part. It's the possible 70-mile-per-hour winds with this that is considerable. Okay, so as we kind of zoom on in here and take a look at the storms, we're going to track it out and give you some points of interest here. So this is going to continue for the far northwestern corner of Rutherford County until 6 o'clock. And this storm is moving east at 60 miles an hour. So let's see what east at 60 miles an hour will give us on a track and what type of times we can expect here. And we'll move it to the east. So east. Now, I tried to track not just the portion that is in the warning right now, but maybe to give us a heads up for some other areas. Maybe Rocky Fork and Laverne in about 9 minutes. 10 minutes for Smyrna, although that is not the portion that is currently warned now. We'll continue to look at that and watch that. Florence in about 13 minutes, Leanna, and about 15. The same for Mona, Vesta, and even out toward southern Wilson County. Walter Hill in about 17 minutes. Compton, 20. Lascassas, 21. Browns Mill, 22. Canesville, 23. And then Milton, 26. Don't know how angry the storms will be when they get to that location, but I can tell you that it's very warm, 81 degrees, with gust up to 20 miles an hour, and the dew point is at 64, so plenty of fuel. Greg mentioning in chat here that hasn't seen a drop all week, and that is the case for a lot of Rutherford County, for the most part, actually, as these storms, it was just almost like there was a wall around Rutherford County earlier this week. We had, tornadic storms go into Columbia, even Chapel Hill. We had some video that Justin and Brian Bailey shot of, the rotating wall cloud in Chapel Hill, but those storms just did not produce, and I think we're okay with that. The area that's flashing in green here from just north of Smyrna into Laverne is an area where we do have a flash flood warning for the next 5 hours because of some of the rain that has happened and some of the rain that's going to begin. Now, as Regina mentioned a second ago, we're going to have storms train over the same area, so we could have some flooding problems even for those areas who have not seen flooding yet, because the National Weather Service has put out some information thinking about 2 to 3 inches. We could see 2 to 3 inches of additional rainfall. Let's see. They are continuing the tornado warning in Sumner and Macon counties. That is not here. The storm did bring down some power lines in Fairview, so that tells you the strength of even the straight line winds. And now Sumner, Trousdale, Wilson, and Macon counties, they're continuing the northern part of that. So this is the National Weather Service, and they may have to hand off here because they're now in the warning polygon. So we'll see what kind of information we are getting here in just a few. The green circle that if you're watching on the Rutherford Weather Channel, that is up in Old Hickory, and that is where the National Weather Service radar is. And so they're under a tornado warning. We are not. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for the very far northwestern corner of Rutherford County until 6 o'clock. The wide view here shows us that there are more storms kind of bubbling up down in Mississippi. Those will continue to ride to the north and east. And that's part of the training that we were talking about with Regina just a moment ago. So now that we are on all of our channels here, letting you know about the severe weather conditions, let me put this into motion for you a bit. And we do have storms down toward Franklin. So Davidson County is out of the tornado warning itself, by the way. Greg, I'm not going to argue. Just a general non-severe thunderstorm would be nice. But the warning, which is for the northwestern corner of the county, that is for 70-mile-per-hour possible winds. Just doing a little quick text here. So again, severe thunderstorm warning continuing until 6 o'clock. This is a new piece of information that I need to tell you as well. The Rutherford County public safety buildings and safety shelters are open. They were opened at 4 o'clock. So let me pop that up. Some road closures in Nashville. So if you have plans to travel to Nashville, maybe not a good idea this evening just because of the heavy rain that they're getting and some of the road closures in that area. All right, let me pop this up for you. And this shows the location of the public safety buildings. And you've got one in Kittrell on 8055 Woodbury Pike. That's in Reedyville. The Las Casas Public Health and Safety Building is at 6525 Las Casas Pike. The one in Rockvale is at 6540 Highway 99 in Rockvale. And then the one in Walter Hill is at 6413 Lebanon Road. All of those are very near the school complexes in which the county owns. This gives me an opportunity while we're looking for this severe thunderstorm to pop in to the county here. Gives me an opportunity to kind of show you what are the hazards that we look for. Some of the hazards in severe weather include hail, large hail, of course, tornadoes. We're not under a tornado warning. Just want to emphasize that. Lightning, but lightning does not impact the severity or whether a storm is considered severe or not. It has nothing to do with that. But most thunderstorms, lightning, right? Wind and flooding, of course, are some of the hazards. Also would be a good time for you to share with anyone that you might know the Rutherford Weather Channel, RutherfordWX.com. When there are warnings, we're on radio, 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, 100.5 Smyrna, and on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch. with our video channels where you can see the radar and things of that nature. Okay, so let's go back and take a look at our particular warning here. Need to close this window out for us, though. So again, a reminder that those public safety buildings are open for anyone who feels like they need those. How long will these storms go into the night? Good question. We'll talk about that as well. Thanks for the question, Kristen. To be honest with you, we haven't had really good luck with our short-term modeling. Really showed this being like a late evening, overnight type of event. And I still do think we're going to have some rain and storms. We'll just have to see. Let me check a couple of additional sources that I'm getting in here. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning for the far northwestern corner of Rutherford County in effect until 6 o'clock. So let's continue here. To take a look at the rain beginning to enter places like Four Corners, about to come in, Lake Forest, Fate Sanders Marina. And let me take a look at some of the winds here and take kind of a sampling of some of those. And the lighter the color, the higher the winds. And those definitely drop off the further south in this line you go. So honestly, we may be in a little better spot here once we get this through this northwestern corner of Rutherford County for portions of Laverne. If you're in the Laverne area and driving around and about, or you just heard about this, you can listen on 100.5 FM in Laverne, as we've got you covered there, AM 1450 as well on radio. So the storm's about to pop in here in the northwestern corner of the county. But as we look back toward Franklin and Hohenwald, down into western Middle Tennessee, Savannah, Henderson counties, and West Tennessee, this is kind of a solid pipeline of storms that will continue its progression. Now, here's a little silver lining with all of this. Once we get through today's event, maybe some leftover showers, maybe a storm in the morning. Those don't look to be terribly strong to severe. And then much calmer weather. It's going to be a little cooler. We're going to have to trade our mid-80s for some 60s. Could have a couple of nights that almost get to freezing, maybe some light frost out there. But I bet after this week, we'd all trade that for a few days, right? So, Laverne, this is right on your doorstep. And again, this does not include areas just south of where the distribution center is. And honestly, it's kind of a diagonal line from very near the I-24 exit. Actually, it's just a little further up than that. Wait a minute. Let me find my exit here. Right there. That's on into Old Hickory at that point. So it's right around the Laverne exit in a diagonal line all the way up through into Wilson County. So once again, some of the areas, Veterans Memorial Park, also up toward Laverne Middle School, several subdivisions like Lake Forest, Ponderosa, Morningside, Pointed Side, Acres, Morrow, up to Lake Forest Park, Four Corners Marina, Pools Knob Recreation Area. We've had plenty of lead time with this storm, and Regina from Weatherology joins us, and that's the good thing. We've had plenty of warning, but this severe thunderstorm, or this storm that prompted the severe thunderstorm warning, is knocking on the door in Laverne.
Yeah, it really is. It's getting ready to cross over that Davidson County line into northwest Rutherford County, included in that far northwest corner, included in the severe thunderstorm warning until 6 p.m. tonight. Still looking at that possibility of 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts along with quarter-size hail as this line of storms continues to race pretty quickly, moving to the east. It's moving right around 60 miles per hour. So with this line of storms, we could see those very strong winds. Possibly we could see that large hail too, although it looks like that hail potential is a little bit farther north, that better hail potential, I should say, a little bit in the far northern part of this line of storms. So I think our biggest concern as this rolls into northwest Rutherford County is really going to be those strong winds, although we can't rule out maybe a little bit of hail. Also could see some very heavy rainfall coming in with this storm, with more rain forecast behind this storm. But right now, this severe activity getting ready to move into northwest Rutherford County, getting ready to cross that county line out of Davidson County into Rutherford County, and that possibility still that we could see those strong winds along with quarter-size hail as it pushes to the east at this time. I'm weatherology meteorologist Regina Kroll.
Regina, let me ask you a question or two here. We're having some getting some comments here, and was looking on the radar. We're looking for rotation. People are, I guess, a little storm fatigued now that we've done this for 5 days in a row, it seems. So really not seeing signs of rotation with the storm that will affect our county, right?
Right. Yes. Any signs of that rotation right now is just farther to the north. They do have those warnings, those tornado warnings, but they are up and farther to the north, including portions of Wilson County, Sumner County included in those. But right now, Rutherford County, our biggest concern really going to be those strong winds coming through. Straight line winds still an issue, of course, with this moving through, but we're really not looking at any signs of rotation with the southern part of this line that is pushing to the east.
I did notice that at the Smyrna Airport, the latest reading was several degrees cooler than Murfreesboro, and so that probably helps a little bit. Not saying that, but anything a little bit cooler always helps, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that can help diminish it a little bit for sure.
All right, Regina, thank you very much for the update. Weatherology meteorologist Regina Kroll joining us here as we continue our severe weather coverage here on Rutherford Weather. I think we've gotten several questions answered that have been sent in through chat, and you can contact us through the video channels here, mainly YouTube, and I can check Facebook and X here real quick to see. Lots of people asking for certain locations. So if you're not in most of Laverne, you're not under any type of warning at this point. We have more storms to the west. We'll just have to see. We're on warning about the storm that is about to come into Laverne at the moment. That doesn't mean that we will not have storms. I don't know how angry those storms will be. We'll just have to see when they move into other portions of the county. Let's see if we can pull up some additional comments here. They're canceling the warning in Davidson County. That may be some good news for us here, too. Let's just see. Getting ugly in Smyrna. I would think that the skies do kind of look a little on the rough side. Comment about I'm tired, so I think we're all kind of storm fatigued here. So they did cancel a portion of the warning, and the portion of the warning that included Laverne Middle School, the Memorial Park there, Lake Forest Park. So this really just includes areas around the Pools Knob Recreation Area and Fate Sanders, and that is for the severe thunderstorm warning that is to the north. So basically, the weather has passed the area where the remaining warning is in effect, and the warning that was just to the west has been canceled. Okay? So with that being the case, I think we can safely say that there will not be a warning imminently, with the 6 o'clock warning that included, basically, Laverne was kind of included in two different warnings. So this is just right over the Fate Sanders Marina, and just to the north of that as we go in the Pools Knob Recreation area as we go off into across Couchville Pike and into Wilson County. So with that being the case, I think what we will do is break away on radio. Don't believe that there is an imminent threat here in Rutherford County. We're going to continue coverage here on the Rutherford Weather Channel, but kind of step back from the constant conversation about a warning, just so you know that that is the current situation here. So let me get things ready to go back here and return radio to regular programming. And of course, we will break in if there are any additional warnings that are issued. That's when we will break in on radio to let you know about it. We're going to be going here for just a little bit longer and see how things progress here on the Rutherford Weather Channel. So if you're listening on radio and would like to have more weather information, Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitch, and follow at RUCO Weather, RUCO Weather. 5:27 our time, back to regular programming on WGNS. Okay. Back on regular programming there on radio. And for those of you who ask a few questions, strong winds getting dark in Smyrna. Yeah, I would bet so. We've got a view from a newer camera we have. This is going to be in the Siegel area, looking toward the Smyrna area. Wind picking up just a little bit here. See the clouds continuing to roll by. Let me see what we can do in the Smyrna Laverne area for a view. Let's start it out at I-24 at Waldron Road. And there is the view from the TDOT SmartWay camera. Traffic moving along at interstate speed there, it looks like. And there's a look at I-24 at Sam Ridley. Still looks dry there. The rain has not made it in just yet. And on up to the Lee Victory Parkway. This is looking back south toward Murfreesboro, and things still looking okay at I-24 and Lee Victory Parkway. For those watching in Murfreesboro, this is the look at downtown and some pretty angry looking clouds there, right? Let's see. We do have, yeah, the clouds are pretty gnarly. Large tree down at Old Hickory Boulevard. So definitely had some high winds up in the Nashville area for sure. It just did not follow suit a little further to the south. Don't know if we had a touchdown or just straight line winds. We are seeing some trees down, but straight line winds can do those same things. And just because there's rotation, as we've seen this week, just because there's rotation, that doesn't necessarily mean it's making it to the ground, which that then in turn becomes a tornado. All right, let's take a look and see if we've got any road closures, additional road closures, and we're still at the 6 that we've had for a bit. This is from Rutherford County Emergency Management Agency. Those include all the usual suspects, a couple of places on Elam Road, Swamp Road in the Eagleville area. Let me do a refresh here and just make sure that I've got the latest. Yeah. There's a partial closure at West Sam Ridley Parkway, apparently. Old Nashville Highway. So just a few of the usual suspects in terms of our closures. Back here with our look at radar. They have extended the tornado watch a little bit. It still includes Rutherford County. And that's until 9 p.m. You see that scrolling across the bottom. You also still see scrolling across the bottom the severe thunderstorm warning, but that one hasn't cleared because there is still a portion of the county that is under that warning for another 29 minutes. But for the part of the storm that's warned, it's on up towards Suggs Creek and Gladeville, not at Fate Sanders Marina. And the storms that are crossing the J. Percy Priest Lake into Four Corners, Lake Forest, that was another warning, and they let that warning expire. So that's why Rutherford County, in terms of looking at all the warnings, not really in any danger at this point. Kind of taking a look at a few things here. So pretty quiet on National Weather Service chat, which is good. And I know a few minutes ago, we had a question about how long will these storms go into the night. So I'm going to do one more thing, and then we're going to kind of just leave the radar going. You can come and go as you'd like. We'll kind of keep things rolling here for a little bit here on the Weather Channel. So this is the current HRRR, which is called, or it's called the HRR, or the High Resolution Rapid Refresh. This is a model that we can use. And this is depicting what it looked like at 5 o'clock or 30 minutes ago, the radar. And just quickly back to the radar, this is what it actually looks like. So it's not picking up on the lighter rain and things of that nature that are falling to the west. It is picking up nicely on this line. So maybe it's, I haven't looked at it in just a minute. So it was actually about an hour before we went live here, some 38 minutes ago. So this is what it says is happening now. This line from Clarksville down to Jackson, it's further east. So we do know that. And this has the development that's down in Mississippi, which we'll look at in a second, roll through Jackson. See, there are still places in Rutherford County that have not had rain thus far. And until we do get some of that rain-cooled air, we're not going to get that much cooler. So here we go, and this is showing not until 11. That's midnight. Strong storm at 1 a.m. and then pushing through, and then staying in the rain. That's 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Still maybe some showers left over after 10, but that's as far out as it goes. So we say that to say, I guess, that we could have more storms, and as long as this stays stalled here, which has been our problem all week, the front staying kind of stalled and draped between Nashville and Murfreesboro, it's going to take a while for there to be enough forward progression to get this on out of here. So sorry to say, Kristen and others who may be thinking it may take it a while for this to be done. Maybe a little bit faster than this, and I think if we're going to have to go through it, we'd rather go through it faster than having it slow up and just ag on forever, you know? So with that said, what I'm going to do here for the next few, just kind of look over some things. This may be one of those days where it's a day to stop and start the stream, because right now there's no imminent situation going on. We don't want to step away just yet, and they have taken all of Rutherford County out of the warning, just like we suspected just a few minutes ago. So why don't we kind of leave the radar going? I'm going to step off from the constant talking about general thunderstorms right now. No warnings. The flashing green is a flash flood warning for really between Smyrna and Laverne to the north. That was issued in advance. We may eventually all be under some kind of flash flood warning. But again, most of Rutherford County, outside of that area that's flashing green, we have not received much rain. I don't know how much we can take and how much falls. The National Weather Service is thinking 2 to 3 inches of rain before this is over tomorrow. So we'll just have to see. Now, when I say over tomorrow, I don't think once that initial line comes through, once it finally pushes through, we're going to have rain, but it's not looking like that's going to be severe at this point. But we'll certainly keep a watch on it. So right now in Middle Tennessee, got a tornado warning up east of Gallatin to Lebanon, but that's all moving far, far away from us. So as promised, a little less talking, but we're going to keep the radar going here on the Rutherford Weather Channel. And just as we were chatting a few minutes ago, the National Weather Service has now placed just about all of Rutherford County in a flash flood warning for the next 6 hours. So that's going to be flooding rainfalls possible here. So I'll pull this over so we can read together. It just says Rutherford County and Middle Tennessee until 11:45. So thunderstorms capable of producing heavy rain. Flash flooding is ongoing or expected to begin. So this includes Walter Hill, Smyrna, Laverne, Walter Hill, Eagleville, Rockvale, Christiana, the entire county. So flash flood warning for the next 6 hours. So we are expecting all of this to begin moving in. Now, in the camera shots that you're seeing, that's from downtown looking to the east in the top. And this is in the Siegel area looking to the west towards Smyrna and Laverne. All right. So that's the update that we have for you right now. We're waiting on the flash flooding or flash flood warning. Well, the flash flood warning is in effect. We're waiting just to see how much rain we get and how much can be handled here. So keep it right here on the Rutherford Weather Channel. Okay, a little bit of an update for you. I just went outside myself and, I felt this kind of rush of cool wind. And if you're in areas, really on the western half of Rutherford County, maybe you're seeing that the wind pick up there, clouds really dark. What that is, it's the outflow of the storms that's coming in. It's going to bring down a little bit cooler air. And in terms of the severe chances for what we're seeing on the radar now, that likely takes those severe chances down in terms of the storms that are pushing in to the western half of the county. Smyrna, Laverne, almost into Blackman, almost into Eagleville, Rockville next, overall, then Florence, then downtown, then the eastern half of the county. These storms are going to continue to push off to the east, but in terms of the chances of severe, that takes the chances of severe for this down. But we've got to go back here and look in West Tennessee. So here is the Memphis radar. You can see the warning that has a little different flash to it right there around Memphis. That's a flash flood emergency for downtown Memphis. There are some storm spotters in that area. And the reason I bring us down here is look at the tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings. The movement on these storms, just pull up the information on this particular warning. These storms are moving to the northeast. Okay. So as those storms move to the northeast, who's northeast? Rutherford County. Just so you can pick it out easily, maybe, hopefully. Here's Rutherford County. Let me pull the map over here just a little bit. Whoops. Erase. Pull the map over here just a little bit so we can actually see Rutherford County without the live cameras being in the way. So here's Rutherford County. Who's to the northeast? Rutherford County's to the northeast of all of this. The dogs hear the wind outside and they bark at anything that rustles. So anyway, that's why we've got to keep a lookout for that. That's why it's going to be a little later. I don't know that we're going to keep the stream going for that long. We may stop and just see what this decides to do, and then if things get close or gnarly, we'll kind of keep going. But I will leave this going for a little bit just so folks will know. Probably put up a little message here about nothing severe right now and a flash flood warning, and just leave this going for a little bit, calm our nerves. But that's what this green flashing is, and that is a flash flood warning for the next 6 hours or so. All right, back with another update in just a few here on the Rutherford Weather Channel. quick update here from the Rutherford Weather Channel. We can see the rain, maybe a little bit of lightning every now and then. I keep getting lightning detection on some of the apps, but I'm not seeing it here show up on radar. Then there is some back toward Franklin and I-65 here in the last 15 minutes, but I have not seen any with the activity that's here in Rutherford County. The bottom live shot that you're seeing, of course, you can see the rain spray from the cars that are driving by. We do have rain in that camera shot that is in the Siegel community, kind of pointed towards Smyrna. The camera at the top is in downtown Murfreesboro, and that is pointed to the east. Weather radio going off here, but that is for the extension of the flood warnings. So they are pushing the flood warnings out here. So you can see mostly flood warnings here in the northern half of Middle Tennessee, including all of Rutherford County, and a flood warning for the next 5.5 hours. The temperature at the airport, 82, but that was at 5:35. So it'll update here in a few minutes, and it will not be 82. You can see the raindrops there on one of our camera lenses too. So you can definitely tell rain is in the northern half of the county. Siegel, Walter Hill, Wilson Elementary School. Wind picking up a little bit as well. Those winds, 20, maybe 30 miles an hour, nothing severe. That's what we're getting from Alert Rutherford. Yeah, this is for that flash flood warning. Yeah, this is for that flood warning that we were just getting a minute ago, and I'm not sure why we're getting them for those areas, but that's okay. From Alert Rutherford. Regardless, the wind's not too terrible out there. You are going to get some gusty winds. That's the wind product, but it's all just winds. It's not straight line winds, anything like that. Okay. And there you go. Look at the radar. I think we'll leave this going for just a little bit and continue to try to look and see what we can find out. Really windy over MTSU, I'm sure, Mika. Pretty windy, but nothing severe. That's kind of why I wanted to leave this going here. Nothing severe at the moment except the warning for flash flooding. We can take a little bit more rain than they can in other areas north of Laverne, because they've had the bulk of the rain. This is a radar sweep coming in, and it'll continue to move this onto the south, or move it over more eastward past downtown. So there you go. Okay. Not seeing anything severe, and we might end the stream here. Just don't. I know that there are several of you that are on here and watching. So we'll kind of leave things going here for a few moments. Again, nothing severe. I want to reiterate that. Nothing severe in the county right now with the rain and storms that are coming in. And that's our update for now here on the Rutherford Weather Channel. We'll check back in a few. Stay with us. Back as we continue watching the rain and storms coming through Rutherford County, really just heavy rain, not necessarily stormage. And I thought I'd show you the velocity just to kind of point out something here to you. Okay. So let me bring my tool up here. So see the difference between this red and green? That is the outflow from the storm here. And that's pushing this boundary further south. So it's almost cleared Rutherford County. So what does that mean for us? Well, this boundary could actually go back northward. That boundary could continue to sink to the south. And that will determine whether we get, I don't know how far south it's going to go, but that's going to determine how much rain we get and whether these storms train over our area, which I think is the thinking from the National Weather Service, because we've got a flash flood warning for the next 5 hours and 20 minutes. And the entire county pretty much enveloped in heavy rain right now. There we go. Saying, I don't know why it's not showing here for me. Whoa. You don't want to see any of that. Let me bring my radar back up here. Or maybe it crashed. Nope, there it is. Here we go. That's what you want to see. So see, heavy rain. Now, if you're down toward Christiana, it's coming. Plainview, it's coming. Whitworth, Buchanan, Kittrell, Vaught Road Slab, it's coming. But watch the motion of the storm activity. Everything is really kind of pushing in this direction, north-northeast, right? So as this gets through the county, it'll continue to push north and east, but a little further south. And then it's going to continue to rain and rain and rain and rain.